Have you ever looked at a celebrity couple and thought, this one feels different? Not because of the red carpets, not because of the headlines, but because something about them seemed genuine in a world where authenticity often feels impossible to find. Jennifer Hudson and Common looked like that kind of story. She was one of the most respected entertainers in America, a woman whose voice had carried audiences through heartbreak, hope, and triumph. He was a celebrated rapper, actor, and writer known for thoughtful lyrics and a calm, intellectual presence. Together, they didn't appear to be chasing attention. They appeared to be finding peace. Or at least, that's what the world believed. For months, every appearance seemed to reinforce the same narrative. They smiled naturally. They supported each other's work. They spoke with admiration instead of performance. Fans weren't simply watching another Hollywood romance unfold. They were watching two people with remarkably different careers seemingly discover common ground built on shared values and mutual respect. But Hollywood has a way of reminding us that what we see in public is only a fraction of the story. Behind every carefully photographed red carpet, behind every interview, and behind every perfectly timed public appearance, there are conversations the cameras never capture. And sometimes, the quiet moments tell a very different story. Today, we're taking a closer look at the relationship between Jennifer Hudson and Common, not to fuel rumors, but to understand why so many people became invested in their journey, how public perception shaped the narrative around them, and why even the strongest celebrity image can be tested when private lives become public conversations. Because in Hollywood, love isn't judged only by the people living it. It's judged by millions watching from the outside. Before they became one of entertainment's most talked about couples, Jennifer Hudson and Common were already icons in completely different ways. Jennifer Hudson's story has never been one of overnight success. Born and raised on Chicago's South Side, she grew up surrounded by music, faith, and family. Long before sold-out concerts and award ceremonies, she was singing in church, developing the powerful voice that would eventually captivate audiences around the world. Her breakthrough came when she appeared on American Idol. Although she didn't win the competition, millions remembered her voice. Sometimes the biggest victories don't happen on the stage where everyone expects them to. Her career truly exploded when she portrayed Effie White in the film adaptation of Dreamgirls. The performance earned her widespread acclaim and introduced the world to an artist capable of doing much more than singing. She wasn't simply delivering songs, she was telling stories through emotion. Over the years, Jennifer built a remarkable career across music, film, television, and Broadway. Recognition followed at every level. Awards accumulated. Critics praised her versatility. Audiences admired not only her extraordinary talent, but also her resilience. Her personal life, however, was marked by unimaginable tragedy. Jennifer endured heartbreaking loss that no amount of fame or success could erase. Rather than allowing those experiences to define her, she continued building a career grounded in strength, professionalism, and perseverance. To many people, she became something larger than an entertainer. She became a symbol of resilience. Common's journey was equally compelling, though it unfolded in a very different arena. Also raised on Chicago's South Side, Common earned recognition through hip-hop by choosing substance over spectacle. While much of mainstream rap often focused on commercial success, Common built his reputation through thoughtful storytelling. His lyrics explored identity, relationships, social issues, spirituality, and self-discovery. Listeners appreciated that he didn't seem interested in following trends. Instead, he created music that encouraged reflection. As his influence expanded, so did his career. Acting roles, writing projects, public speaking, activism, and film production added new dimensions to his public image. He became known not just as a rapper, but as an artist whose work crossed multiple creative fields. Looking at Jennifer Hudson and Common separately, it's easy to understand why each commanded so much respect. But together, they represented something even more meaningful. 2 successful artists, 2 Chicago natives, 2 people who had overcome enormous challenges, 2 careers built on authenticity rather than controversy. On paper, it almost sounded like destiny. That's why the earliest rumors surrounding their relationship attracted so much attention. Unlike many celebrity romances that begin with flashy headlines or viral social media posts, theirs developed quietly. There were no dramatic announcements, no carefully produced relationship reveal. Instead, people began noticing small details: industry events, shared appearances, mutual support, comfortable conversations. Nothing seemed forced. Fans started asking questions long before entertainment media had definitive answers. Were they friends? Collaborators? Or was something deeper beginning to develop? Initially, neither Jennifer nor Common rushed to satisfy public curiosity. That decision only made people more interested. In an era where celebrities often document every aspect of their personal lives online, privacy itself had become unusual. And unusual creates intrigue. The speculation continued growing as they were seen together at cultural events, award ceremonies, and public gatherings. Observers noticed something difficult to manufacture: ease. There was no obvious performance, no exaggerated displays of affection designed for photographers. Instead, interactions appeared relaxed and comfortable. They laughed easily. They listened attentively. Their conversations seemed genuine. For many fans, that authenticity made the relationship feel believable. Eventually, their connection became increasingly public. While both remained relatively private about intimate details, they no longer appeared interested in hiding that they cared deeply for one another. Public interviews reflected mutual admiration. Common frequently praised Jennifer's character, intelligence, and accomplishments. Jennifer, meanwhile, spoke carefully but warmly whenever discussions turned toward him. Their communication styles couldn't have been more different. Common often expressed himself through lengthy reflections. Jennifer preferred fewer words. But many people interpreted that contrast as balance rather than conflict. He was expressive. She was reserved. He analyzed emotions. She simply lived them. Sometimes opposites genuinely complement each other. At least, that's what audiences hoped. Then came another moment that fueled public fascination: their professional collaboration. Working together placed them in an entirely different environment. Now audiences weren't simply watching 2 celebrities attend events together. They were watching them create together. Fans examined interviews, promotional appearances, and behind-the-scenes footage. Every smile attracted attention. Every joke generated online discussion. Every interaction became another piece of what people believed was a beautiful love story. Social media amplified everything. Short video clips accumulated millions of views. Comment sections filled with supportive messages. Many described them as mature, grounded, refreshing. In an entertainment industry often criticized for short-lived relationships, Jennifer and Common appeared to represent something steadier. But celebrity relationships exist under extraordinary pressure. Every public appearance becomes evidence. Every interview becomes analysis. Every facial expression becomes a headline. The public doesn't merely observe famous couples. It investigates them. And that's where perception becomes dangerous. Because once millions of people begin constructing a narrative, reality sometimes struggles to keep up. Small moments suddenly carry enormous meaning. If one partner appears slightly quieter than usual, speculation begins. If another misses an event, questions immediately follow. Silence becomes interpreted as conflict. Distance becomes interpreted as trouble. Normal human behavior transforms into internet investigation. Jennifer Hudson and Common were no exception. As public interest intensified, every appearance attracted greater scrutiny. Fans compared interviews from different months. Entertainment blogs analyzed body language. Social media users created timelines attempting to connect unrelated events. Most of these observations proved impossible to verify. Yet they spread rapidly because curiosity travels faster than certainty. That's the nature of celebrity culture. People don't simply consume information. They attempt to solve stories that may not actually exist. For Jennifer, maintaining privacy had always been important. Years of public attention had taught her the value of protecting personal relationships from unnecessary exposure. She rarely volunteered intimate details. She preferred allowing her work to speak louder than her personal life. Common approached publicity somewhat differently. He often reflected publicly on growth, purpose, relationships, and emotional development. His interviews tended to be philosophical. Rather than discussing specific private moments, he explored broader ideas about life and love. Neither approach was inherently right or wrong. They were simply different. But differences, however small, often become magnified under constant public observation. The question slowly shifted. People stopped asking whether Jennifer Hudson and Common were together. Instead, they began asking something else. Could this relationship survive the extraordinary pressure that accompanies fame? Because history offers countless examples of celebrity couples whose greatest challenge wasn't each other. It was the attention surrounding them. And as the months continued, subtle changes in public perception began emerging. Nothing dramatic. Nothing officially confirmed. Just enough uncertainty to make people wonder whether the fairy tale everyone believed they were watching might be more complicated than it first appeared. And sometimes, that's exactly when the real story begins. As public fascination continued to grow, Jennifer Hudson and Common found themselves in a position familiar to many celebrities, but challenging all the same. Every appearance together became a headline. Every interview was examined for hidden meaning. Every smile, every pause, every glance was slowed down, replayed, and interpreted by millions of people who believed they could read between the lines. That's the strange reality of fame. The more people admire a relationship, the more they begin to feel invested in it. Fans don't just watch, they predict. They speculate. They build narratives that sometimes become more powerful than the truth itself. For Jennifer and Common, that attention became impossible to ignore. One interview would spark hundreds of articles. A simple photo together could dominate entertainment news for days. Even when neither of them made any dramatic announcement, the internet managed to create one anyway. Still, despite all the noise surrounding them, there were plenty of reasons people believed this relationship had a real chance of lasting. Unlike younger celebrity couples chasing constant publicity, Jennifer and Common projected maturity. Neither appeared interested in proving anything. Neither seemed desperate for attention. Instead, they often spoke about values, family, growth, spirituality, gratitude, and purpose. Those conversations resonated with audiences. In an entertainment industry often criticized for superficiality, they represented something more grounded. At least, that was the public impression. One of the biggest reasons fans embraced the relationship was their shared connection to Chicago. That wasn't just a fun fact. It represented a common foundation. Both understood where the other had come from. Both knew what it meant to overcome obstacles. Both had spent decades building careers that demanded discipline, persistence, and resilience. People imagined that shared history created a level of understanding few others could appreciate. Whether they were attending award ceremonies or simply supporting each other's professional accomplishments, they appeared comfortable, relaxed, natural. It never felt overly rehearsed. And in Hollywood, authenticity can be surprisingly rare. But celebrity life isn't lived only on red carpets. Away from cameras, careers continue. Schedules become demanding. Travel separates people. Professional obligations compete with personal time. Jennifer remained deeply focused on expanding her television career while continuing her work in music and film. Her schedule was packed with production meetings, rehearsals, recordings, promotional appearances, and countless responsibilities that accompany hosting a successful daytime talk show. Every day required preparation. Every episode demanded energy. Success at that level leaves very little room for distraction. Common's career followed a different rhythm. His work stretched across acting, music, writing, producing, and public speaking. He frequently traveled for film projects, artistic collaborations, and community initiatives. Like Jennifer, he balanced multiple creative pursuits at once. From the outside, they looked like two accomplished professionals supporting each other's ambitions. But balancing two successful careers is rarely simple. Time becomes the most valuable resource. Moments together become increasingly limited. Communication becomes essential. And when public attention is added to those everyday challenges, even ordinary situations can appear extraordinary. During this period, entertainment media continued searching for new angles. Without official updates, speculation filled the silence. Some reports emphasized how happy they appeared together. Others questioned whether their demanding schedules might eventually create distance. It's important to remember that much of this coverage relied on observation rather than confirmed information. Still, public curiosity only intensified. Every entertainment outlet wanted the next exclusive story. Every podcast wanted insider details. Every gossip page searched for clues. The relationship had become more than celebrity news. It had become a cultural conversation. Then something interesting happened. Common appeared on several interviews where he discussed love, healing, and personal growth. He spoke thoughtfully about becoming a better partner and learning from life's experiences. Many listeners interpreted his words as reflections inspired by Jennifer. Others believed he was simply discussing his broader philosophy on relationships. Because he rarely offered highly specific details, people projected their own interpretations onto his comments. Jennifer approached these conversations differently. When interviewers asked about her personal life, she often smiled before giving concise answers. She didn't dismiss the questions. She simply refused to let them dominate the conversation. Her focus consistently returned to her work, her music, her audience, her gratitude. That contrast fascinated people. Common often explored ideas through long, reflective conversations. Jennifer communicated through restraint. Neither style was wrong. But together, they created an interesting dynamic that audiences continued discussing. Some believed Jennifer's privacy reflected confidence. Others thought Common's openness reflected emotional maturity. Both perspectives had supporters. As months passed, social media transformed into a giant investigation board. Fan accounts began comparing public appearances from different periods. They debated body language. They discussed who appeared more affectionate. They counted how many events the couple attended together. Some even analyzed seating arrangements during award shows. Looking back, it's remarkable how much meaning people attached to ordinary moments. A delayed social media post became evidence. A missed appearance became a theory. Silence became speculation. In reality, celebrity schedules are incredibly complex. Professional commitments frequently prevent couples from attending every event together. But online discussions rarely leave room for simple explanations. Instead, every absence invites a mystery. Entertainment blogs quickly recognized that uncertainty generated clicks. Questions performed better than answers. Is everything okay? Did fans notice this? What happened behind the scenes? These headlines encouraged readers to fill in gaps with assumptions rather than facts. Gradually, the conversation surrounding Jennifer and Common shifted. Instead of celebrating their relationship, people began searching for signs that something might be wrong. Not because there was confirmed evidence, because audiences often become conditioned to expect celebrity relationships to fail. Hollywood history has created that expectation. Countless romances have captured public imagination only to end under enormous pressure. Fans who had once rooted enthusiastically for Jennifer and Common now watched with growing curiosity, wondering whether their story would be different. Meanwhile, both continued focusing publicly on their careers. Jennifer's television presence remained energetic and professional. Her performances continued earning praise. She appeared confident and committed to her craft. Common maintained his creative work across multiple industries. His interviews still emphasized growth, gratitude, and artistic purpose. On the surface, life appeared to continue normally. Yet beneath that surface, entertainment media remained hungry for something more dramatic. The challenge with modern celebrity culture is that calm periods rarely satisfy public attention. If nothing controversial happens, speculation often fills the vacuum. That doesn't necessarily make the speculation accurate. It simply makes it popular. As online conversations multiplied, anonymous sources began appearing in entertainment reports. These unnamed voices claimed to possess insider knowledge. Some suggested the relationship was stronger than ever. Others hinted at disagreements. Without verification, these claims remained impossible to confirm. Responsible reporting requires distinguishing verified information from rumor. Unfortunately, not every platform follows that standard. Jennifer herself rarely responded to speculation. That decision reflected a pattern she had maintained throughout much of her career. She understood that responding to every rumor often gives those rumors greater visibility. Sometimes silence isn't avoidance. Sometimes it's strategy. Common also avoided directly addressing many online theories. Instead, he continued speaking about broader themes of personal growth, creativity, and gratitude. But the internet interpreted silence differently. To some people, silence suggested confidence. To others, it suggested that something was being hidden. The truth is, silence rarely tells us what people imagine it does. Still, perception can become powerful. By this point, Jennifer Hudson and Common had become one of the most discussed couples in entertainment, not because of confirmed controversy, but because millions of people wanted to know what happened next. And when curiosity reaches that level, even the smallest moment can become front-page news. What no one realized was that the biggest challenge facing their relationship might not come from the tabloids. It might come from the impossible expectations created by public attention itself. Because once the world starts writing your love story, it becomes incredibly difficult to control how the next chapter is told.